Hey ladies, are you feeling overwhelmed by hormonal changes? Well, you're definitely not alone. There are more than 1,000 hormone disruptors living in our environment right now. It's in your food, your water, the air you breathe, the clothes you wear, your skincare products. They all mess with your hormones. Then there's the natural hormone changes your body goes through, premenopause, menopause. And while it's a natural process, it doesn't mean you have to suffer through it. The good news is you don't have to suffer through it anymore because now you have Hormone Harmony, a formula made only with herbal ingredients that are shown to reduce hormonal symptoms in women of all ages. Hormone Harmony is not just a hormone supporting supplement, it's become a phenomenon. Women can't stop talking about it on social media. A bottle of Hormone Harmony is sold every 24 seconds. And the biggest benefit? Well, my wife says it makes her feel like her own self again. And that's what women mention over and over in the reviews. And there are over 30,000 reviews for Hormone Harmony. And for a limited time, you can get 15% off your entire first order at happymammoth.com. Just use code RLRC at checkout. That's happymammoth.com and use code RLRC for 15% off today. That's happymammoth.com and use code RLRC.
It's simple math. Tim Hortons 2-3-4 menu fills your mornings without emptying your pockets. $2 gets you a hot coffee or a classic bagel. $3, try a sausage and cheese English muffin or 2 classic donuts. And for $4, enjoy an egg and cheese croissant or an iced cap. Do the math. It all adds up to delicious deals. Only at Tim's. The Tim's 2-3-4 menu is available until 2 p.m. at select Columbus, Ohio restaurants. Terms apply.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to Real Life Real Crime Daily for Friday, March 10th. And I'm Jim Chapman.
I'm Woody Overton.
And I'm Mike Agavino. Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Morning.
Everybody's chipper this morning?
Yep.
I had extra coffee.
Okay.
This is going to be a hell of a show.
Prince Settlement.
Yes.
Coffee.
Roasting.
Roasting company. They're very good.
Was that a plug? We just plugging a coffee company?
You got a bag from them. You don't remember?
I haven't given it to him yet.
No, I did get a bag.
That's right.
I did get a bag, but I have a what do you call it? A coffee maker that only does the pods.
Yeah.
I've tried to create a pod out of what's in there. Yeah, that didn't work out. Exactly.
A little grainy.
So I need to get them into the pod
I had to order
business.
another coffee pod just for that coffee.
That's right. That's right. I've got a big coffee pot up there just for the French Settlement coffee. Shout out LaGrange family.
Legit people. And
Yeah,
they also
cool.
gave me a Shiner Box sign for my bar.
Shout out Shinerbach.
Shinerbach needs to sponsor us.
Yeah.
Hey, y'all, let me tell you about something real quick. And I know Mike and Jim care about this also, but I got to do a lot of cool things since being in podcasts. And this weekend, I'm going to be a judge in the Market on the Hill annual cook-off. This is going to be on Sunday, March 12th. 2023 at the Barn Hill Preserve in Ethel, Louisiana. Now, y'all, it's like a 2-day market deal. It's a big deal. All the craftsmen and politicians, everybody comes out. And they only host this a couple times a year. But all the proceeds go to benefit St. Jude's, and who doesn't love what they're doing there?
One of the best charities,
right.
Most beautiful charities on earth.
Right. And so I would encourage you to come out. I think the gates open at 10 on Sunday, and it's like $5 a person and you can eat all the jambalaya, taste all the jambalaya that you want. And I'm going to tell you which one's going to be the most fire.
Love it.
You get to judge
Awesome.
the winners. And all the proceeds go to St. Jude's, and we love what they're doing with those children and their families. So come check me out, Market on the Hill, this Sunday, March 12th. And the judging is at noon, but I'll be there when they open. All right.
Very good.
Great cause, Woody. Great cause.
Yeah.
I unfortunately won't be there because simultaneously I'm judging the Miss Kinky Louisiana competition, which is also another terrific cause where we hope to raise lots of money.
They're sponsoring Should Businesses Jail Fund.
Should Businesses involved, yes. We'll have a remote with her. Well, let's, since everybody's pretty chipper this morning, why don't we start off with a fun story? Not so much. Everybody loves pedophile news, don't they?
Oh, my God, yeah.
Let's talk about this jack-off. Jared from Subway. Everybody remembers Jared from Subway and all the Subway commercials, and some people may have forgotten that that Jared ran into a little problem a few years back. So we're going to remind you about that problem, and unfortunately tell you that that somebody wasted 3 episodes of a reality series on this clown.
Doing research.
But talk to you about that and bring you up to speed on all things Jared Fogle. So going back in the time machine a little bit, this guy, I believe it was at Indiana University. So that's Bloomington, Indiana.
Hoosiers.
Jared Fogle was a college student struggling with obesity when he started eating Subway sandwiches. So this was the whole backstory, that this was a very overweight guy who just started eating Subway sandwiches, and I believe it was the Subway Turkey Club that was his.
He had that in
sandwich.
the afternoon, and he had the Veggie Delight for dinner. And he was obese his entire life, and one day he started it, and he ended up losing.
He lost 245 pounds.
Yeah, that's a lot.
And off of that, he became a spokesperson for Subway because he attributed all that weight loss to eating the chain sandwiches. He said back in a 1999, boom, Jim. He said back in a 1999 interview, quote, "I was reborn in every sense of the word. Subway helped save my life and start over. I can't ever repay that." But that friendly public image was shattered in 2015, and Fogle's stunning downfall is the subject of this new 3-part documentary called Jared from Subway, Catching a Monster, which premiered on Monday, March 6th, on the ID network. I didn't even know there was such a thing as the ID network.
Woody's been on the ID network.
Discovery. I've been an investigative producer for them.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah. Well, when they called it ID, if they just said Discovery, I'd have reacted differently. So I believe the only one of the 3 of us who has caught this 3-episode series yet at this point is Mr. Overton over there.
Caught it last night, and it's just pathetic. But he really became an icon, and I think he did over 300 something commercials in his career with them. But the main thing he did is he went around the world speaking to kids, and he started in 2004. He started whatever the name of his foundation was to promote this nonprofit to promote kids to get out there and be more active and get less screen time, et cetera. But the guy he hired to promote, to run that, to be the CEO, got arrested first.
This guy, Russell Taylor.
Yeah. And they're both pieces of shit. But it started, but a long time before he got arrested, there was a lady from Florida who was a radio personality and a TV thing. And she had him on as a guest, and they did the radio show first that morning, and he was hitting on her. And right before they did the TV show, he leaned in and whispered to her. He said, "Middle-aged kids really turn me on." And so she had 2 middle-aged kids, and over the period of course of years, she took it upon herself, being an investigative journalist, to try to record all the conversations with them, basically reverse groom him to get him to admit to what he liked. And once he did, she went to the FBI, and they investigated him, or she made like 3 years worth of tapes, and it is disturbing, right? The stuff he said, and it morphed. So
they actually play him in the.
Oh yeah.
Oh, wow.
It morphed into where they were actually supposed to do a sting where she was going to have her own kids have sex with him, and the Jared moved up the date to within 48 hours, and the FBI says, "Oh, we can't accommodate you on that." And so that she kind of got swept under the rug. She even went to the local Sarasota, Florida Police Department, told them the FBI's not doing their job. This guy's a pedophile, and they let it go. And then when Russell, whatever his name is, gets
Taylor,
he got and his wife was an attractive female. Not that it matters, but she had 2 teenage daughters, and they got married and moved them in. He had his own film production company, and turns out he had all the bedrooms of the girls wired and all that, and they got sex acts and everything else. But how he got busted was he was sending some bestiality stuff to a friend, and the friend went to the Indiana State Police, and it wasn't illegal to have bestiality porn, but it was illegal to engage in the actual act itself. And so they set up the wife, and they ended up getting a search warrant for his house, and that's when they found all the shit on Jared Fogle.
Yeah, with the 400 sexually explicit photos and videos. And so finally in 2015, the FBI got Fogle. He pleaded guilty to both distribution and receipt of child pornography and to traveling to engage with in illicit sex with a minor. Right. He was sentenced to more than 15 years in federal prison and forced to pay $100,000 to each of 14 victims for a total of $1.4 million. For his part, Taylor was sentenced to 27 years in prison on child pornography charges. The series, I mean, I don't know why they felt compelled to make this series after all that.
Because it just came out again. They have more charges against the mom in 2021. They were going back through, and they discovered another treasure trove or whatever it was, and they had to go back to the daughters, and they interviewed the daughters who are now adults, and it's just pretty disturbing. But I mean, this guy, I mean, it's not bullshit. That he talks about them going to Malaysia or wherever it is and having sex with, you know, he talks and he says in his own words, he said, I pounded his young ass, and when I get to pound some of that, and this is everybody's, then they show all the celebrities over the years he's been with and all the talk shows and everything else and all the kid talks he gave. He made like over $15 million.
He was getting paid $2 million a year.
Yeah. And
for a bunch of years. So, yeah.
And, you know, and I had totally forgot about that, about this dude until I saw this. I knew, you know, you had sent it to me, and then it reminded me on my Discover card, which my son has, is in college. I'm paying for all this shit, right? And I keep getting these Subway bills for $29 each. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure you can't eat $29 worth of Subway by yourself. So I called him last night and I said, you can't go to Subway anymore.
You know, it's amazing because I'm the same crap. Like every time my son eats at Pizza Hut, it's somehow
feeding the world,
$40. Right? How the hell can it be $40?
It's feeding all his fraternity brothers.
Freaking Pizza Hut. Well, I hope that they do bring more to the table, because he's currently serving his sentence and is eligible for parole after 13 years. So if they put him away in 2015, that's only 5 years from now he would be eligible for parole.
Yeah,
so
well,
hopefully
he got arrested in July and sentenced in August. He pled out immediately, no trial. So he got a hell of a deal as far as I'm concerned. He could have got up to 50 years and as little as 5, and they only gave him 15. To me, that's shitty. They should have gave him 50.
Well, hopefully there was more they can pile on his little sandwich, and hopefully wherever he is, he's getting the wrong side of turkey.
Well, hopefully he's in a place like this next story I'm going to tell you all about. In California, there was an inmate serving a life sentence for murder. And he confesses in a letter that he beat to death 2 child molesters with another inmate's cane hours after a prison counselor ignored his urgent warning that he might become violent. Jonathan Watson, 41, said he clubbed both men in the head on January 16 at the California Substance Abuse Treatment Facility and State Prison in the small central city of Cochran. The first attack occurred after Watson became enraged that one of the sex offenders was watching a children's television show. Y'all, even inmates hate fucking showmos. Watson believed the man began taunting other inmates by watching children's television programming, and
that this behavior does not comply with Woody Overn's manual on child molester inmate protocol while in a pod with well-muscled, bearded white men with facial tattoos. Yeah.
That is in your manual.
Yeah, and y'all, we'll put this guy's, it's like subsection A, paragraph 1, right? But this guy's photograph needs to be on all our social media. I'm going to tell you something. That's the lowest of the low. I mean, I'd rather deal with a murderer than a chomo.
Well, and the Jonathan Watson guy said, I could not sleep having not done what every instinct told me I should have done right then and there. So I packed all of my things because I knew one way or another the situation would be resolving the following day.
Absolutely.
So
he borrowed somebody's cane.
He knew what was going to go down, and he told them he was going to do it. So what happens in a case like that?
Well, how many life sentences can you get? He was already doing life, and nobody's going to give him the death penalty for beating 2 child molesters to death. I wouldn't. So I'm sure he's going to get 2 more life sentences.
So his friend who had a cane so if you can prove you've got a leg injury, hip injury, whatever that's
people they have. I mean, that's a legit deal. They give them state issue canes, and I've seen convicts on walkers or wheelchairs or whatever. Then once it's established you have that, I mean, it's no different than Jeffrey Dahmer getting beat to death with a mop bucket handle, right? I mean.
But a cane's pretty good. Cane's pretty handy weapon. Yeah, it's pretty easy to wield versus a wheelchair.
You got to have it. And, a lot keeps an honest man honest, and this guy did the whole world a service as far as I'm concerned.
Yes, and he's very proud of it. So good on him.
Yep.
Great story there.
Yeah.
So
justice. Sometimes justice is just us.
That's right. That's right. Some good old inmate justice, as they call that.
It's not every day that a story out of Baton Rouge becomes a national story. And the story we're about to get into has become a really large national story in the last 48, 72 hours. It's actually played out over a couple of week period, but we're really fortunate to sit here with Jim and Woody with their knowledge of the city and the geography, some of these places, et cetera. So I want to do a quick reconstruction of Nathan Millard's visit to Baton Rouge, the purpose of it, what we know about his short time here before some bad things happened, and then try and piece together, at least throw out some theories about what might have happened and at what point. And so Millard is going to fly to Baton Rouge for a business meeting about a potential construction deal. It's a quick turnaround. He's going to be here for 24 hours or less. He flies in late afternoon. He meets up with the guy he's looking at this deal with, so a client. They decide to go to an LSU Vanderbilt basketball game that night at LSU. He FaceTimes his wife from the game, so we know he was there. We know that she saw him. In fact, that's the last time that she would ever speak to him. We know that from the game, they decide to go to a gentleman's club, and they have a few drinks, perhaps a few dances at the gentleman's club. We know that they go from there to a place called Happy's Pub and have dinner and cocktails. We know that Millard gets overserved or maybe peaks his drunk at Happy's to the point that the staff there believes he's had enough, and so at 10:30 he leaves after he's told they will not serve him anymore. He's seen leaving Happy's by video cameras at 10:30. At 11:30, he is seen arriving at a Greyhound bus station on Florida Street, which I don't know the geography that well. Guys, how far is that from Happy's?
It's always about 4.5 miles.
Okay.
3rd Street is where Happy's is. It's less than a block from Happy's to Florida. but Florida is the main intersection, the main drag in downtown, if you will, and it's a long ass ways.
Okay, I want to finish the timeline, but obviously intrigued with why would he go from that restaurant bar to 4 or 5 miles away to a Greyhound bus station. Let's come back to that in a little bit. But we're told that while he is at that Greyhound bus station, a security guard asks if he can help officers to call him an Uber, etc. Millard does not accept. The guard said Millard does not appear to be in distress, but does seem out of place, and I would think he would be. This is a businessman from Atlanta area in for a 24-hour meeting. That part of town and a Greyhound station at that time at night, right. Probably not where you would expect to see a guy like that. So between 11:30 and 4:30, which is so wide, we're talking about a 5-hour period, things get a little bit fuzzy. Police say they're able to track Millard, or maybe they mean track Millard's phone. I don't exactly know, but they're able to track Millard around several businesses in the area over the course of the next several hours. He is seen, according to this report, this is coming from WSB in Atlanta, which is the number one news source in Atlanta. So he is seen at a business around 4:30 a.m., but police do not reveal what business he's seen at 4:30 in the morning. New surveillance video shows Millard walking with a person in a light-colored shirt and shorts in the area about the same time. We don't know who that person was. And that's all we know about that night/morning. So the night of February 22nd into the morning of February 23rd. The client that Millard is coming town to see is expecting Millard to show up at a meeting 9 o'clock. I think it was earlier than that, probably an 8 o'clock meeting or 8:30 meeting the next morning. Millard does not show up, and so the client calls the police to request a welfare check. And at some point, and they don't find him. He's not in his hotel room. It has not been slept in. At some point during the day, his wallet and phone are found on the ground several blocks from his hotel. Okay, that's a timeline. Guys, help me.
Just a couple of things on something you mentioned. They do know who the guy in the light-colored shirt and shorts are. That was actually a homeless person that they did speak with, and I guess ruled him out of any, foul play situation as far as having something to do with anything.
But did he say anything? I mean, did he do anything?
They're not saying.
No, they're not going to say anything. But the problem with this whole thing is this kicked off a bit of a shit show, and Baton Rouge prides itself on 3rd Street. And my father actually owns Happy's Irish Pub, the building, and several other buildings down there. It's a cleaner version of Bourbon Street or Beale Street in Memphis. They touted the live music's down there and everything else. But this Georgia man goes missing. I didn't want to report on this until we had more facts, but I said immediately he's dead. But I figured they'd find him in the Mississippi River. But this is before all the cameras and everything else came out. Investigation, Texas Eco Search comes in. They do a grid search of downtown Baton Rouge. That's when they, evidently locate these cameras and everything else. But after 2 weeks, almost 2 weeks went by, a person is walking on Chippewa near Scenic, and they smell that smell gives.
How close is that to the Greyhound station?
It's probably another couple miles away.
Really? Okay.
And let me put it to you this way: when he left Happy's and he ends up taking a right on Florida Boulevard, the further east he went, the worse the neighborhood got. Okay, when you cross underneath the interstate, which is probably 2 miles from Happy's, and another 2.5 miles from the Greyhound station, it gets worse and worse and worse. Chippewa and Scenic is like ground zero.
He didn't have a car. He did have a rent-a-car.
No, I don't know. I don't know anything about that. But I know that there's been no report of a car. And if they've tracked him on cameras at these businesses, then that I would assume he's on foot. But
4+ miles.
I mean, if you fucked up, you're walking and you're doing, maybe he's looking for another bar. I don't know. But what he did know is he was walking into the wrong place. So, person
but they would have known had he gotten an Uber or a Lyft to go that distance. And so he's either in somebody else's car that's not a cab
the
drive
thing about
service.
the downtown where 3rd Street is, you get a block off of that in any direction is not shit. The downtown is almost strictly government business, law offices, things like that. It's open during the daytime. Most of the restaurants even close after lunch. Okay, that's why when they revitalized 3rd Street and turn it into live music venues and restaurants and all that. But you go east from there, there's nothing. You hit the interstate, there's less than nothing. There's nothing but the hood. And I'm not being racist or anything else. I'm just telling you, anybody that challenges my statement, you go walking at nighttime. And the Greyhound bus station, same thing. So, but regardless, this person 2 weeks later smells the death smell, and they call and it's investigated. They had to ID the body by it was badly decomposed because it was wrapped in plastic and carpet. Jim, my buddy Shane from Wisconsin up there, and right now they're in the 30s. We've been in the 80s the last 2 weeks, right?
Right.
So being wrapped up, the body's going to speed the decomposition. Yeah,
it will, and there was a lot of questions surrounding a lot of things with that scene, and so BRPD came out. They issued a statement to kind of address some of these questions. One of the questions that was glaring, and what some people may not realize, is that a lot of that carpet that he was found in was left at the scene after the body was picked up. They never picked it up. Now, you don't have to be Woody Overton to know that might be a key piece of evidence. I mean, that's a questionable thing, because although you may have predetermined there was no foul play, how many times does that happen on cases? And then later on, there was foul play. So right. you can't, to me, you can't make that big of a decision. Now, in defense of BRPD, in that press conference, they alluded to the fact that they took some of the carpet, but it was a giant roll, and there was only maybe a certain aspect that he was rolled in. That sounds horrible, but maybe they cut that carpet, and the guy went as far as to say, we took what we needed to take with that carpet.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you my thoughts on that, and worked so many scenes like this where the general public doesn't know. When the coroner comes out, and it's a suspicious death, certainly, but there's no bullet holes, no bruising, even though the body's in decomp, there's no obvious signs of trauma. The first thing they're going to do on scene is take about a big ass syringe and needle, and they're going to jam it into your pelvic area, into where your urine is, and they take a sample of your urine on site, and they put it on what they call a board. The board lists any type of narcotics that you have in your system, and it's qualitative, not quantitative. But I'm just speculating, y'all. I can't say for sure, but I would imagine it came back with fentanyl or heroin or whatever, and they're thinking it's OD. Now, the problem with that is you OD, you didn't wrap yourself up in plastic and then a big old roll of carpet. That press conference they held, Chief Murphy Paul, who I used to work with, state police, saying, no foul right after the autopsy. They said no foul play suspected. It's safe to come down to Baton Rouge. Well, certainly you should have taken the carpet, all of it. You could get rid of it, and The problem with it is, even if it's an overdose under the Louisiana law, and we did one of the first cases here in Livingston Parish way back in the early 2000s, if I sell Jim Chapman heroin and he ODs on it, you can be charged with murder. Okay, I could be charged with the murder for selling him the dope. Somebody sold this guy from Georgia dope. Certainly he didn't get through TSA and everything and end up walking in the hood late at night and OD and then wrap himself up.
Right. Well, we're gonna play the clip in which the one of the detectives on this case responds to just that question with the rug. For those of you that may not have heard it in the BRPD press conference, and just feel it's important that you hear this response.
It was reported that his body was wrapped up in a rug. The rug is still sitting there, and a lot of people want to know why it wasn't collected.
Okay, so whenever we go to a crime scene, our detectives and our crime scene investigators, they confer with each other on what needs to be taken and what doesn't.
Hey, y'all, let me tell you about Gobble. All Gobble meal kits are pre-prepped. That means less work for you and less waste in your kitchen. Their meal kits include everything you need so you can save time at the store or just skip that trip entirely. I got the box in and I had 3 different meals. I had a Kung Pao chicken, crispy fish tacos, and a beef bourguignon, however you say it. But let me tell you about the classic beef bourguignon. Look, it came with beef pot roast and a beef broth concentrate, red wine demi-glace, cremini mushrooms, cipollone onions, mashed potatoes, baby carrots, and rosemary thyme butter. It was so easy to make. Literally like 15 minutes it took Cindy. And let me tell you something, all the dishes were fire, but this thing was like a taste explosion in my mouth. It's just unreal. We got to spend more time together and more time doing the things we love because everything came in this one single box right to my door. So see what a difference Gobble will make for your household. Right now, they're offering my listeners a fantastic limited time deal. You get $120 off across 4 boxes plus free shipping and free cookies. And let me tell you, those cookies, I ate one that was sin baked and it was delicious. Go to gobble.com/real life. That's GOBBLE.com/real life for $120 off your first 4 boxes. This offer is not available on the home site, so don't miss out. This is genius. It's taste explosions in your mouth like you never had. Spark something uncommon this holiday with just the right gift from Uncommon Goods. The busy holiday season is here, and Uncommon Goods makes it less stressful with incredible hand-picked gifts for everyone on your list, all in one spot. Gifts to spark joy, wonder, delight, and that's exactly what I wanted feeling. Hey, y'all, I ordered a super cool piece. It's a candle with a sculpture of LSU's Tiger Stadium on top of it. And each officially licensed laser cut wooden replica features up to 4 layers of detail, creating a bird's eye view of a specific football field, seating section, and more. And every label includes your stadium's name, the team's logo, and school location. And it has a coconut, soy, vegan wax infused with sandalwood smell that creates tailgates and touchdown scent profile, reminiscent of game day. It's invigorating like fresh cut grass and nostalgic like smoke from a pre-game grill, and calming like the crisp autumn air of a new semester on campus. Y'all, I love it. I have it at the base of my TV, and I'm ready to watch the Tigers play on Saturday night, right? Uncommon Goods. Look, when you shop at Uncommon Goods, you're supporting artists and small independent businesses. And many of their handcrafted products are made in small batches. So shop now before they sell out this holiday season. Uncommon Goods looks for products that are high quality, unique, and often handmade or made in the U.S. They have the most meaningful, out of the ordinary gifts anywhere. They even have gifts you can personalize. From holiday host and hostess gift to the coolest finds for kids to hits for everyone from the book lovers to diehard sports fans. Uncommon Goods has something for everyone, not the same old selections you can just find anywhere. And with every purchase you make at Uncommon Goods, they give $1 to a nonprofit partner of your choice. They've donated more than $3 million to date. So to get 15% off your next gift, go to uncommongoods.com/RLRC. That's uncommongoods.com/RLRC for 15% off. Don't miss out on this limited time offer. Uncommon Goods, we're all out of the ordinary.
And they didn't deem it necessary for them to take the entire rug. And I'll just leave that at that. I know there's a lot of speculation. There's a lot of information going on about what we may have found out there, what we may not have. And once again, that's part of the investigation, so I don't want to put that information out.
I mean, what do you think? Is that
I don't know.
acceptable?
I don't know. I wasn't there. I don't know what their logic is. If it's a big ass piece of carpet or whatever, that tells me more than one person had to roll it up, right? So you can look on DNA on the whole thing. I don't know. That's armchair quarterbacking. I would, certainly. I don't think they thought anybody was going to go to the scene and say, "Oh God, they didn't take all the carpet." I would take the whole fucking thing, and in case something happens.
Yeah, and in this particular area where they found not only the area but the actual business in which they found this body, y'all, it was a old, raggedy, looked like a crack house business that was basically two little oil change
Bays. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, bays.
And just to throw this out there, in the same time frame in the last 2 weeks, they hadn't said they're connected. Certainly, there have been two more bodies found, and I think one of them was even found wrapped up. So, I mean, whatever. Why they didn't take it, I don't know. But the deal is, the family now is challenging BRPD, and they're asked for the Louisiana State Police to come in and investigate. The problem with that is the LSP. I used to be an investigator for them. We never went in unless the agency that handled the case requested you to come in. You just didn't do it, and certainly BRPD is not going to go back and say, "Oh, well, we're incompetent. Can state police come take this over?" Right?
From the outside looking in, because I'm not the Baton Rouge guy, to declare no foul play on something that indicates on 100% foul play makes zero sense. I don't care how much you are trying to keep the public calm and how much you're trying to protect your downtown business and convince people that it's safe to be going down there. That seems to be a disingenuous statement. And there's that piece of it. And then there's and gosh, I makes me think of the Madison Brooks case as well, is if you get to the point that you are so out of it as to not know where you are, as to be disoriented, and with the high blood alcohol level or drugs, I mean, anything can happen. This guy gets to a place in this in the city that neither of you guys would make that walk, right?
Nope.
No way.
I wouldn't drive it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And so he had whatever he had in him, he got in him early enough to be. I don't think you just get hammered at a bar.
I don't know. I'm gonna tell you
like
something.
that.
Happy's is I mean, I frequented it over the years. You're gonna do some drinking at Happy's, right? I mean, you have your own mug hanging, et cetera. So maybe.
And look,
it's a
they went to a strip club before that.
Right.
I mean,
maybe it's a
probably going to do some drinking there.
fallout. Like my son works in another bar now. He said they're really tightening down on him because of the Madison Brooks case, and so maybe that. But maybe he got out and did whatever. We don't know. Heart goes out to the family. And hopefully, if it's foul play, they're not just trying to cover it up because of tourism.
Well, and look, what you said. about the possibility of fentanyl. I mean, let's face it, it's the number one killer now of people age 15 to 45 in the United States. And so if he's out of town, he's having fun on a trip, it's a 24-hour turnaround, he's really going to party it up, and he decides that whatever it was, a joint, some kind of pill, probably a pill, that he's going to take, and he gets directed to some particular person to get it. And boom, and look, it's happening to kids on college campuses that are just looking to get an edge on studying by taking something. I mean, it's scary, but it sure sounds like maybe this is going in the direction of something like that.
Well, and one of the things that has come out as recently as yesterday afternoon is the wife, which I don't know if we mentioned this yet, but this gentleman had 5 kids throughout it was a blended family. Right. So there were 5 kids of various ages between him and his wife, and she has come out and stated, number one, these people are not from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, but it shows the reputation of Baton Rouge, Louisiana from Atlanta area relative to the crime rate. Because one of the things she said she was first concerned with on an interview with Kieran, Unfiltered with Kieran, was that the crime rate was so high here. Her initial assumption was they're incompetent, the police there in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and it's extremely high crime rate. Of course, you don't throw all police under that same bus. There's some people responsible, and most are awesome folks over there. All of that being said, she has not been able to get a whole lot of answers out of them, either on or off the record. She feels roadblocked about this whole situation and has written a request to the state police to take over that case. Now, I don't know, Woody, if someone can a victim's family do that?
They can certainly do it, but the response is going to be from the colonel. We do not get involved in an investigation unless we're asked by the investigative agency, or now if there's a cover up or whatever, then they're going to the Attorney General's office involved and all that. Gotcha. So, but still, that's not done. The whole problem with this whole case now is he's found wrapped in plastic and carpet in the hood, dead.
And you can't do that by yourself.
Can't do that by yourself. So stay tuned, and we'll keep y'all updated as it unfolds.
And 5 kids in Atlanta are without a daddy.
God bless them. Yeah.
Unbelievable. You guys big NBA fans?
I used to be a huge NBA fan back when Bird and Jordan and, real NBA players were playing.
Real NBA players. Listen to Jim.
Dominique.
Woody? No? Yeah. NBA?
Absolutely not.
Well, no Pels games? No?
Nope. I got get my kids to one, but.
Okay, but you guys know who Ja Morant is.
I've heard the name only because I play NBA 2K.
Oh my God.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Jim, Ja Morant?
I do know. I'm familiar with him.
Okay, well, hopefully more folks in our audience are. But Ja Morant is a phenomenon. He is a player who, in just a couple of years in the league, has become one of the faces in the league. Certainly, one of the key younger faces in the league on a resurgent team, the Memphis Grizzlies, that have become one of the top teams in the NBA, and a team that many people feel could win an NBA championship in the next couple of years. And a lot of pressure's been put on this young man's shoulders. Well, the other night, Ja Morant, following a road loss in Colorado playing against the Denver Nuggets, ended up in a club after the game in a suburb of Denver called Glendale, where he posted on Instagram Live him singing and dancing within the club to some rap music, but in the video he is seen with a gun, brandishing a weapon, which is a major no-no on a bunch of levels. Take the legal part out of it for a second and just take the NBA part of things. This is one of the faces of this league. The league is incredibly image conscious, and there he is, social media with a gun. And so shortly after the video was posted, the Memphis Grizzlies announced that Morant would be stepping away from the team for at least the next 2 games. So I think the Grizzlies may have been hoping it would end there. Morant came out the next day. He apologized to his teammates. He took responsibility for his actions. He apologized to the fans. He vowed to, quote, take some time away to get help and work on learning better methods of dealing with stress and his overall well-being. The Grizzlies coach is a guy by the name of Taylor Jenkins. He said there is currently no timetable for Morant to return to the court following that statement. So I think their next 2 games statement earlier morphed into waiting until, no timetable until he is ready to come back. And so, like I said, the 2-time All-Star is one of the faces of the league, and this was a major, major story in social media. It's not clear at this point if the gun was real or not. I'm sure that'll come out in the next couple of days. The NBA has opened its own investigations and its own investigation of the case. And NBA journalist Mark Stein appeared on the League Uncut podcast the other day and said different elements of this situation could lead to a suspension. There is also investigation being led by local officials who may end up charging him with some kind of gun crime. And so, here we have a professional sports player, a leader in the league, one of the faces of the league, out on the town with a gun. And this story inspired me, guys, for a game. And I think we really need a game at the end of this episode. Who's up for a game?
Me.
Oh, my God. Yes. Oh, my goodness. They don't seem as inspired. The audience loves games, guys.
Yes,
I like
it
the
is.
games.
Okay, so we are going to play a game I have entitled Jailed Jock Jeopardy.
All right.
So our questions are going to refer to professional athletes that have gone to prison. Okay, professional athletes that have gone to prison.
Okay.
We have 2 categories of professional athletes that have gone to prison. We have the NFL. So obviously these are current or former players within the National Football League that have gone to prison. And we have a separate category of Major League Baseball, the NBA, and fighting sports that I have thrown all together. So boxing, MMA, NBA, Major League Baseball are all in that second category. This time we have 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, and 1,000 point questions. And we have 2 daily doubles out there where you can bet as much as $8,000. So
stepping up
we are keeping it real. I believe, Woody, you were the victor last time we played.
By pure accident, because I suck at names. I can't remember names.
Well, hopefully you can remember some famous athletes' names. I need to keep score. So we're going to do this the same way we did last time.
Yeah.
Where you guys are yelling out when you believe you have the answer.
Sure.
And same rules as always. If you weigh in, I'll stop reading the question. You need to answer it then. If you get the question wrong, you lose those points, and the other player gets a chance to hear the entire question and then choose whether they want to answer or not.
NFL for 100.
Woody goes with NFL for 100. Remember, you've got to answer in the form of a question. Born outside of Norfolk, Virginia, I was an All-American, he was an All-American, and the first player drafted in the 2001 NFL Draft. He spent 21 months in a federal prison after pleading guilty.
Got it. I got it.
Woody?
The dog fighter, Michael Vick.
Michael Vick.
He didn't say
Who is Michael
Who is
Vick?
Michael Vick?
Who is Michael Vick is a correct answer. If I finished it, I would have said he spent 21 months in a federal prison after pleading guilty
I was trying to think of who was going to be so famous.
for his involvement in a dog fighting ring. Woody, you have the board and 100 points.
NFL 200.
NFL for 200. He was a two-time All-American and recipient of the 1959 Heisman
Who
Trophy.
is Billy Cannon?
Yeah, give me. Yeah, he got me.
Jim, the 1959 giveaway. Recipient of the 1959 Heisman Trophy and the first pick of the 1960 draft. In 1983, after a series of bad real estate investments, he became involved in a counterfeiting scheme and served 2.5 years.
You can catch that on Bloody
in
Angola.
prison. Yes, you can catch that on Bloody Angola. In 1995, he was hired as a dentist at the Louisiana State Prison.
Then he was
Angola.
head of the whole medical program, and he's buried in a casket made by inmates from Angola. Check out Bloody Angola, the podcast.
There you go. Now, Jim, you have the board.
I'll take, what was the other category?
Baseball and
The other
Yeah, I'll
just
take that one
miscellaneous.
for 1,000.
Really?
Yep.
Going, I should restrict you guys from doing these big point ones until the end. Remember, they always get harder as we go along. At least theoretically.
It's all right. I'm
Theoretically,
confident.
they get harder. Okay. This is a 1,000-point question in Major League Baseball, NBA, and the fighting sports. His nickname is a natural disaster, but Denzel was anything but.
Who's Hurricane?
See, we don't know who. We got to have some way of buzzing in or something.
We have to hit the
'Cause
table.
that was a tie.
It was a tie buzzing in. It was an incorrect answer.
Correct.
So only fair that, Jim, you get a chance to answer. You've heard you haven't heard the entire clue. His nickname is a natural disaster,
You were going to say the same thing.
but Denzel was anything but when he played him in a 1999 film.
Who is
Somebody that's not
the
almost-
Hurricane?
You were saying the same thing. I knew it.
So you
But
both,
I can't remember the guy's actual name.
Reuben Hurricane Carter.
Yeah.
Fucking Hurricane should be legit.
No, that's not the answer.
Oh, that's his name.
So his name is Reuben
That's his boxing
Carter,
name.
who incidentally was
So nobody won.
I can't remember names
was
anyway.
incarcerated for almost 20 years and then released.
Yep.
And that was a great movie, 1999, The Hurricane, starring Denzel Washington as Reuben Hurricane Carter. Okay, so you're both in negatives now. So
I'm negative
we'll
900.
tally
He's
and I'll-
negative 1,000.
I don't
Okay,
even
Jim's
know
got
what's
it over there.
I
Okay,
thought
so
you were keeping track.
you
of them.
still
It's
you still
900
have
to
the board.
Negative 9 and negative 1.
Okay, let's do same category for 100.
A little bit less bold than his last bet.
Even
Same
though
category for
we got
100.
it right.
Okay. In 1992, he was convicted of rape and sentenced to 6 years in prison. His wife, Robin Givens,
Who is Mike Tyson?
Jim, with 100 points, who is Mike Tyson? His wife,
now
Robin
we're
Givens,
even.
filed
We're
the charges. He launched his podcasting career in 2015 with producer Mike Agavino on the show Bite the Mic.
Mike.
Bite the Mic. Love Mike.
All tied.
Jim has the board.
Go for 200, same category.
200, same category. Okay. You can call him by any one of the 3 names he's used during his life. He was one of the chief instigators in a fight that became known as the Malice in the Palace. Who banged?
He did.
Who is Muhammad Ali?
That would be an incorrect.
I know. I was
We're
thinking
gonna- I'm gonna
Rumble
let
in the
you finish
Jungle.
it, because he's one of the instigators. I know is the
Okay,
promoter.
so I'll finish.
Yeah.
I'll finish the sentence. The clue. He was one of the chief instigators in a fight that became known as the Malice in the Palace between his Indiana Pacers.
Oh, okay. I didn't answer yet.
You started to answer, Woody.
All right, who's Diamond King?
I know who it is
It's
now,
a
but I
fucking
can't say
basketball
it.
question,
Yeah.
not a boxing question. You both lose 200 there.
What was that?
You're
let me
talking
finish- let me
about
finish.
Isaiah Thomas, aren't you?
No, I'm not.
I don't
So
know anything
the,
about
the
basketball.
one of
Larry
three
Bird.
names, he was one of the chief instigators in the fight that became known as the Malice in the Palace between the Indiana Pacers and the Detroit Pistons. He won the NBA Defensive Player of the Year award in 2004, and he was also named an NBA All-Star and earned all NBA honors. He won an NBA championship in 2010 as a member of the Los Angeles Lakers. He was
Who is
arrested.
Dennis Rodman?
I said he had three names you could call him by. You could have called him Ron Artest.
I don't know
You
anything
could
about it.
have
Just
called
give the
him
answer.
Meta World Peace.
Don't know anything about it.
That's right. Yeah.
You could have called him
Oh, my God.
late for dinner. I still got it wrong.
Okay.
Late for dinner.
Wow. All right. Next one. Jim, you're still up.
Same category.
What number?
30.
This is a daily double. So you can bet as much as $1,000 on this question.
Go for it, Jim.
I'm gonna bet 500.
Jim's going to bet 500. And since it is a daily double, only you can answer.
I won't say anything.
Okay. It's simply amazing that three players from the same World Series championship team would all end up in federal prison. But that's exactly what happened to the 1986 New York Mets. Can you name two of the three players to go to prison?
Who is Dwight Gooden and who is Daryl Strawberry?
Bingo! 500 for Jim. The third
shit about
being
baseball either.
the third being Lenny Dykstra.
Catcher.
All the same charge?
You're Met fans. What a
thought
great all
Strawberry
different
was a
choice. What a
dope
great
head,
team, and what a waste of talent on my New York
Got that
Mets.
right.
All right.
All right,
You're up,
Jim. Jim gaining on zero here, so you're back at it, Jim.
Let's go same category. And what do we have left on that
We have
category?
400 and 500 left.
Let's go with 500.
500 is another daily double.
I'm going to do 1,000.
You're going to do 1,000 this time. Okay.
So you were 500
Okay. Let's see.
up.
Both he and his father share the same name, and each of them served time. The younger one is considered by many to be the greatest pound-for-pound fighter of all time. The younger one has made so much of it that his nickname became Money. Name this father-son duo.
That's easy.
First and last name?
Yes.
I actually know these names.
Who is... I have to say the first and last name. It's Mayweather, who is Woody's distracting me. Who?
That's a 15
I got
That's
this
a 15-point penalty for
I don't
distraction.
get any points anyway. I can tell you the answer.
You don't get to answer this daily double. He
can't-
controls
I know,
it.
but
So
I
don't let him
Let
distract
me
you.
say that
Who is?
somebody that's never been in my kitchen.
Oh my God!
3, 2, 1.
I'm gonna tell you the answer, but I know I don't
It's
get points.
Mayweather.
It's Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Senior.
Mayweather
I am a
Senior
boxing
and
fan.
Junior.
I'm not a
So
baseball or basketball fan. I'm a boxing.
Jim has got a 1,000-point ding there. That hurts.
So he's down 500.
I think Mayweather should be accepted.
I thought the Hurricanes
I
should
make
have
the
been
rules.
acceptable.
You do still have the board, Jim.
Let's go 400. Same category.
400. Okay. They still won't let Charlie Hustle in the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame. Mm-hmm. But on April 20th, 1990.
Who is Pete Rose?
Who is Pete Rose? 400 for Jimbo.
So Jimbo is minus 100.
He entered a plea of guilty to 2 charges of filing false income tax returns, not showing income he received from selling autographs and memorabilia and from horse racing winnings, and was sentenced to 5 months in the medium security prison camp at the U.S. Penitentiary in Marion, Illinois. Former players agree that he bet on baseball games, but say it was always on his team. Pete Rose. Okay, we're back to the NFL, and we have the 300, 400, 500, and 1,000-point question available. And, Jim, you still have the board.
Let's do the 300.
300, okay. He caught the game-winning touchdown in Super Bowl 42 as the Giants pulled off the huge upset over the undefeated New England Patriots.
Who is Frank Gifford?
Super Bowl 42?
I got it.
No, I don't think Frank Gifford was alive when Super Bowl 42
It was Odell Beckham Jr.
It's almost as big a debacle as my attempt to do the Royals thing last episode.
I don't know about that, Mike.
Okay. On November 28, 2008, he suffered an accidental self-inflicted gunshot wound.
Well, you didn't say who it was.
Well, I'm reading you the rest of the questions.
okay. All right.
On November 28, 2008, he suffered an accidental self-inflicted gunshot wound inside a New York nightclub when he inadvertently pressed the trigger on his Glock pistol. He spent 20 months in prison in a plea deal for 2 felony counts of criminal possession of a weapon in the second degree and a single count of reckless endangerment.
I remember that case, but I don't remember the
His
name.
name is Plaxico Burress.
Yeah. Also played for Nick Saban at Michigan State.
Yes, he did.
It was also known
Also-
as plexiglass
Played for the Pittsburgh Steelers,
because he got hurt every time he got
which is the
tackled.
team he's probably best known for playing for.
I don't think I can catch Jim out. I think he won.
Okay. Mental note, no more sports trivia, Mike. You got 3 questions left.
Ready?
I don't think I can win. You
Yeah, you
win
could.
by the
My over-under is that there's about 5,000 women in our audience who are kicking both of your asses in this right now.
Yeah, I don't doubt that for a second.
I don't either. Go ahead.
You're still up. What do you got?
What's left?
4, 5, and 1,000.
Let's do 1,000.
1,000.
Give Woody a chance.
Ooh, this is a tough one. He was ranked as the number 1 draft bust in NFL history after having been. Is that
We haven't done anything yet.
Okay, you're
I
like
just
that.
have to.
Well, I'm getting ready to hit it.
Who's Jamarcus Russell?
Finish your question so I can win this.
He was ranked as the number 1 draft bust in NFL history after having been taken second by the San Diego Chargers behind Peyton
Ooh, I
Manning
knew this.
in the 1998 NFL draft.
Quarterback.
Who is Ryan Leaf?
Yeah.
Who is Ryan Leaf?
And
wow,
he got
Jimbo.
caught.
Okay.
He got caught doing some burger charges later on too. That's it. The game's over. Jim wins by default. We got to end this episode.
No, what, I want the next 2.
Let's do the 500 one, and then we'll.
All right,
we'll call
500.
it quits. Here's
One
the
more.
Here's the 500. You have a chance here, Woody. I have faith in you. An All-American. No, stop. An All-American at the University of Florida. He teamed up with Rob.
Who's Danny Werfel?
Who is not Danny Werfel. He teamed up with Rob Gronkowski to form one of the greatest tight end combinations in NFL history. Unfortunately, it didn't last long as he
went to
couldn't
prison.
escape his gang roots and was arrested for murder and later committed suicide.
Who is Hernandez?
First name?
Dead ass Hernandez.
Hercules Hernandez.
he killed. Stupid ass Hernandez.
Okay, Woody, we're going to give that to you because it's meaningless.
Yeah.
His first name was Aaron Hernandez. Once again, I'm left apologizing to the audience for a segment that turns into a debacle. But Jim,
He was a great player.
congratulations
I win again.
on
That's all that
your
matters.
victory.
Yes, you do. All right, and putting it all out of us misery for today. I hope y'all enjoyed it.
Folks, I'm going to spend the next
fucking crazy.
27 hours of my life editing this disaster here.
Yeah, until next time, I'm Jim Chapman.
And I'm Woody Overton.
And I'm Mike Agavino.
For real life, real crime daily. Peace. Shut business.